Should you top your plants? That's today's question, guys. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into a little bit about topping plants and also low stress training LST, specifically using these little bud clips here from Bud Trainer. And if you guys are interested in these, at the end of the video, there'll be a description or be a link in the description below. You can check it out. And I'm also going to get into the mathematics, like the science, if you will, the proof of what works and what doesn't work as far as your overall harvest when it comes to scrogging, low stress training, and topping your plants. What's going on, guys? It's Chris here. Let me start over. Should you top your plant? That's the question of the day today, guys. What's going on? It's Chris here from Ambrosia Buds, and in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about topping. I'm also going to get into scrogging and low stress training using these little bud clips here from Bud Trainer. And if you guys are interested in checking these out, that'll be a link in the description below so you guys can get some. But so let's get into it, because I'm going to break this down in pretty much like a mathematical equation, if you should or if you shouldn't top your plants. Because there's a lot of people that do argue, like, don't top your plants, you shouldn't top your plants. And then there's, you know, a lot of people that argue, yes, top your plants, top your plants. Preferably, I'm going to say it's preference. It depends on you, your growing situation, and you know what you should and shouldn't do. And it's not what you should or shouldn't do, it's just what you want to do, really. It's, you know, it's choice. But do I top my plants? Absolutely. And this is why. So what you have here, but both of these plants are alien technology, and they've been topped. Now, the advantage of topping your plant, for one, it allows you to keep, like, reduce that height. Not everybody has, you know, the privilege of growing in a big warehouse scenario or have a huge tent. So, you know, you kind of want to keep the canopy under your light so you're not burning it up. Another thing is it allows you to bush it out and scrog. And what is scrogging? So before, back in the day, you guys might have heard the term sea of green. And really, they've done the math. So to get your top production as far as overall harvest, you know, compared to the weight that you get out of the harvest, compared to the light being put in and the footprint of the plant, the sea of green was the best way to go. And what that is like, you would take basically a whole bunch of clones. We're going to use like 100 clones, for example. And you would basically clone them and root them, and you would start budding them almost immediately. Like, you let them get about that tall, and you would stack them into rows, right side by side, you know, left and right, up and down, if you will. And what that allowed you to do is it allowed you to have cola after one single cola after cola after cola after cola. And when you map that out into a footprint of how much space that was being used up and the light that was being used, it actually does produce more than if you would just grow one plant out and not top it or top it. But due to state regulations, you know, for in-home growers for cannabis, most people can only grow about 4 to 6 plants depending where you live. So the best way to get that same sea of green, you know, result is by scrogging. And what is scrogging? So scrogging is bushing your plant out. And if you look at this plant, both of these plants are alien technology strain. They're basically the same age. And I've left the clips on this one to show you exactly what it is, and I actually just put these clips on it. So the idea of topping is you're creating 2 more top buds. And you usually want to do this, guys, at the 3rd node. So the 3rd node, once it's growing up, you snip right at the top, and so you'll see those other 2 branches wanting to come out. And what it causes, instead of having one main stalk and then these stalks around it, or these lower branches, you're evening everything out so everything's on an even canopy. But you want to take it a little bit further, and you can top more than once. I've only topped these plants one time, and like prime example is these 2 branches here, you know, is where I topped. So normally it would have been one taller center like branch, basically, or stalk, that would be overshadowing these. But once I topped it, it broke it out. Now, I could have topped these as well and had 4, but due to the space in the tent that I'm growing these in, I kind of like it just like this. So, but once you do that, to take it a step further for scrogging, and I'll explain what scrogging is here in a second for all you new gromies, you want to widen the footprint and the canopy out of one plant. And what is doing, and you can see it working really good here, is you're stretching the plant out left to right this way instead of allowing it to grow up as much. And what that does is allowing light to penetrate evenly, for one, in the center, but also it's what you get here, and you see it here because this plant just got these clips on, so they haven't bent up yet like this plant has. But what you get is like, these are all, you know, they're even right here, and you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, I'll probably trim these 2 back, or I might leave these on and use them for clones. But you're getting an even canopy of nothing but top buds. So you're not getting like these secondary buds, and they're all getting even light. And what'll happen is, in the tent that I have a Spider Farmer tent I'll set this in. This is where you see the netting and the trellises. So as it grows, I will, you know, feed these through the trellis in order to space them out so everything's getting even light. And it also helps for things like airflow. And, you know, and if you have a humidity problem, you want good airflow because it's not moisture building up on the plant. That way you don't get anything later down the road like bud rot and stuff. But so, you know, like the tent I have right now for these, I have 4 of these alien, well, I have 3 alien technologies and 1 blue lobster that I'm growing in that tent. But the idea is I'll take 4 plants that would normally just, you know, grow like this, where if you didn't top them, yeah, I probably could fit 6 to 7 plants in there, but it, you know, they'd be growing into the light and stuff like this. But this way I can spread the canopy and fill up the whole, that whole space, that whole stamp of the space. I think that tent is a 4x6 or something like that. But I mean, so I'm filling out the canopy, and they're all staying even, and they're all getting the exact same of light penetration. As far as, you know, you're still going to want to go in and use some of these snips. I love these guys. This actually came with my these are Vivio Sun, but I'll leave a link in the description below to get some of these. And you just want to, you know, you want to do some trimming. You definitely, I know some people are like, don't trim, but I mean, no, you want to clean up the plant a little bit, like I said, for airflow and mainly light penetration. So taking like some of the, you know, like the big fan leaves off, like I'll take these off right now, actually, these bottom ones, because they're not going to get, you know, the light. And you'll see like this branch, you know, like here, I'll give you an example. See, like this leaf is kind of blocking that one, so I'll just snip that guy off. And, you know, it's just, as you're sitting in your room just staring at your plants, watching them grow, you know, 80% of you is just like staring at them. It's just, you know, you want to take a look at it, give the girl a little haircut, style her up. But I mean, do I think topping is worth it? Yeah, I do, because in the end, what you're going to get is you're going to get a lot bigger, maybe not bigger, but you're just going to get a lot more even top buds. You're going to get as many top buds as you possibly can, instead of a whole bunch of lower the side buds. And that brings into another question too, which I'll do, you know, I'll talk about in a video later down the road about lollipopping. And that's a way of trimming your plants to get all all these bottom branches off. But I mean, when you're scrog, and what'll happen, and I'll get into that after these plants grow bigger to show you a better example of it. But if you ask me, I would say definitely top your plants. And these things right here, these bud clips, this was a 20 pack, I believe. And yeah, it's a 20 pack. And they're only like 15 bucks. So it's not like expensive. And one thing I will say about these little guys is you don't leave them on long. So I had them on this plant for about 5 days. Like, you don't want to leave them on too long, because you still, that stalk, once it's trained real good, like you can see this one, you still want the stalk to grow so we can get the nutrients and everything up to those buds once it goes into flowering. These are into flowering. They've only been in flowering like 2 or 3 days. I just actually flipped them. And I know they're kind of short, but I haven't grown the strain yet, so I don't know how crazy the flip will be as far as stretching out. So I kind of want to keep them a little bit shorter, and that's also why I topped them, just because I don't want it growing past my light. And, you know, I want to keep them a good 8 to 10 inches below my light. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to shoot a line down in the comment section below. If you want more, you know, information about growing cannabis indoors, if you're first time grower, do yourself a favor, ring the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel, guys. Peace. Stay green and keep growing.